What's up, fandom? I'm Josh, and today I'm joined once again by Mr. Jason Simpson.
Hello.
And we've also got a special guest today. We have Chris from Vlogging Through History.
Hey guys, how's it going?
Pretty good. Chris, let's get right into it. What'd you do today? Like, what was lunch? What'd you do for lunch?
So, well, in addition to the YouTube channel, I am a taxi service for my 3 children. And so I drove to cross-country practice. I drove to theater practice. And then I came home and recorded a 20-minute video for the channel on Reconstruction, which left me pretty drained and a little depressed.
What about you, Jason?
I spent the morning grading because I do some teaching. Working out studio times for my students to record demos, navigating schedules for my son's voiceover sessions because he's an actor, and mine, and that took most of the day. Nice. And Hot Pockets, by the way.
Hot Pockets. About to say, like, that was good. Everyone needs a nice Hot Pocket. Yeah. Let them cool for a bit. I had a fun day of surgery. Not real surgery. More, what would you call that, Chris? That was more of like a procedure.
A procedure in which the prep is worse than the procedure itself.
Exactly. And so I am like, I finally was able to get home. Finally able to eat solid food again. So yay me. Whoa. But I had a lingering taste in my mouth. So I went and I grabbed myself some Bucking Birch beer from Wild Bill Soda, who's sponsoring this episode.
Great sponsor.
That is like almost flawless until I screwed it up and started talking about the sponsor. I mean, that's how you ruin an ad read. But yes, Wild Bill, our sponsor for today. Be sure to go to drinkwildbills.com. Use code Fandom10 at checkout. Get 10% off your purchase. Get yourself a nice mug. Some delicious craft sodas. They've got peanuts. They've got barbecue sauces. They also have everybody's favorite beef jerky, but it's not just regular beef jerky. It's like pork loin beef jerky.
Hello.
Like pork belly. I got a pork belly jerky, man. But yeah, all delicious flavors, and they will get that taste of that terrible sludge you have to drink out of your mouth.
Great promo.
Thank you.
I'm having some PTSD with you talking about colonoscopy so much.
Dude, right? Like it will you're going to start tasting it soon. It'll just come at you. You'll taste something with lime in it and you'll be like, "Oh no."
Wait a second. A second. You had a colonoscopy?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you had some dental work done because you're talking about tasting stuff. Oh, wow. No. Okay.
No. I'm trying to get the taste out of my mouth. It's not good.
I didn't know taste was involved with a colonoscopy, so
it's the worst part.
This is wild. They go in through your mouth, hey?
No. Well, I mean, they can do both. But
why did you do that? What does that mean?
Because I guess they meet in the middle. I don't know how the human body works.
So I had a colonoscopy right there, and
yeah. Like if I go to a mechanic, I'll be like, there's something wrong with the trunk and the engine. There's something in there I don't understand.
Okay. All right.
I am not a medical professional, nor do I pretend to be, but I do play one on TV sometimes.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Well, man, I'm not sorry to hear that, but I hope everything's fine.
Not sorry. So you're not sorry that I had.
Do you say, "Hey, I'm sorry you had a procedure"? I don't know.
Yeah, you should say, "Oh, I'm sorry. Like, I hope you feel better." But no, anyway. So we've got Chris joining us today from Vlogging Through History, and we're gonna talk about his channel. So, Chris, tell us a little bit about Vlogging Through History.
So it's been an interesting ride. I started the channel about a year ago. I travel for my job with Rachel's Challenge. I'm a public speaker. I speak in schools. And so I started the channel as an outlet because when I travel, I would go to historic sites, record myself visiting the sites, upload them to my gaming channel. I started this channel as a way to put all that stuff. And then COVID shut everything down. So I wasn't traveling at all. So I had some people suggest that maybe I should try doing some reaction videos where I watch something like a Sabaton song and talk about the history behind it, or watch somebody else's historical content. I did it. And after 6 months of having a channel with just historical content, visiting sites, I had 300 subscribers. I did my first reaction video, and within 2 weeks, I had 2,000 subscribers. And within another 2 months, I was getting 1,000 subscribers a day, and it just went nuts. And so I've been doing it ever since.
Wow.
Nice. And you do a lot of like the oversimplified stuff, which honestly, probably my favorite ones that you do are the oversimplified ones. Just because I mean, like the oversimplified videos are great.
Yeah.
And then, you know, your commentary on them, because like I like history. That was my major in college before everything died. But then, so like, wow, I lost that train of thought. It went out of there.
Everything dies.
So I really like I really like it. But then when you kind of break down and give like, this is kind of what really happened. Like, I really love that that insight that you give. And I don't know how much editing goes into your videos, but it seems like you're like Johnny on the spot. Like every single time you're just like, boom, right there.
It's very little, and honestly, unless it's my original content, there's really not much editing. It's pretty much just shot in one take, and unless I mention ahead of time, it's pretty rare. It's usually a video I haven't seen before. So occasionally you'll see me kind of pause and say, hey, I need to look that up, because sometimes I'll hear things that I just can't believe are possibly true, and I don't know for sure if they're true, so I'll stop to take the time to look them up. But yeah, for the most part, honestly, there's not a lot of editing involved at all.
Nice. And that's talent right there. Because like the amount that you just kind of like pop off, like I'll randomly remember stuff. Like there's one thing that I learned in 6th grade world history that I will never forget. That is the name of the Duke of Wellington's horse during the Battle of Waterloo.
But Bocephus, no, but something cephalus, or I forget what it is.
Copenhagen.
Oh, really? Okay, I'm thinking of somebody else's horse. All right.
Yeah, like
Copenhagen.
Like,
interesting.
Like, I'll never forget it. It'll always be right here. Like on my deathbed, I'll be like, there'll be nurses. I'll be like, the Duke of
Copenhagen.
It's Copenhagen, and that'll be my final words. Is there any like sort of like little nugget like that has stuck with you since childhood that most people don't really know?
So, you know, growing up, I was known as the king of useless knowledge in my school because when all my friends were out like playing and having fun, I was at home reading the World Almanac and Book of Facts, which was the internet before there was the internet. It was like a little bit of everything, that kind of stuff. And so I was always throwing out these like stupid facts that nobody knew anything about. And for me, my favorite one was always the fact that now I got to think of it. I'm losing a blank, drawing a blank here in the middle of it. So the fact that
I love it. That's fantastic.
See, I do this for a living, and then you put me on the spot, and I can't think of what I was going to say. No,
pretend we're not here. Pretend we're oversimplified. Pretend we're an oversimplified video.
So
like
for me, it's always the family connections things. I did a whole video on this recently. So stuff like stupid things like Henry Halleck, who was the general in chief of the Union Army during the Civil War, was married to Alexander Hamilton's granddaughter. You know, stupid things like that, or the fact that General Patton during World War II, his great grandfather was one of the first generals killed during the Revolutionary War, stuff like that. So I just like those like weird connections that people would never even know existed.
Nice. What about you, Jason? What's a random historical fact that you have? I'm going to put you on the spot now, since this is the court of useless information.
Chris just hit something really on the head for me, though, and before I get into that, and it's that when I was younger, I used to have just pop culture trivia, and I still do to this day, and not history, but pop culture. And I would always say, "Oh, I know all this stupid stuff," and my dad said to me, "Just because you know it and the majority of people don't, doesn't make it stupid. It just means that your brain works in a special way." So I always felt better about knowing all this stuff about pop culture, mostly movies and TV. And I never then ever felt like I knew stupid info. It's never helped me in anything except trivia games and impressing people. But otherwise, that's all I ever needed. As far as history goes,
you can just give us a random trivia. Give us a random trivia. I'll take a random trivia.
I'm trying to be smart because but but I'm on the spot now. I was so intrigued with what
Exactly,
Chris was
right?
doing. I was like, tell me more, Chris. And now I come back to me.
All right. So while Jason figures a question out, or
Dear
a
Google,
thing a random out. So Chris, like what was kind of like your main area of study?
For me, there are two of them that I would probably, if you were to put me on the spot and say, what are your areas of expertise? One's the American Civil War, which would definitely be number one by far for me. And probably the other one's British medieval history,
Nice.
Wars of the Roses, the Tudor period, that kind of thing.
Who was your favorite of the I guess before Kings, like before Britain really kind of got united, like before Alfred was doing his stuff? Like what was your favorite? Like were you like more of a Northumbria fan, or
I'm a
like
Wessex person, yeah.
Okay.
And granted, Alfred's probably a big reason why, but Wessex always kind of was the area that I found myself drawn to the most, probably because it was the least impacted, I guess, by the Viking invasions, because they were a little further away from all of that. So they kind of kept more of their identity as Anglo-Saxons than a lot of the other parts of England did.
Do you ever think about naming like a child or a pet like Ethelred or anything like that? Like
my wife, it would get past my wife's veto. So we have pretty boring children names, unfortunately.
it's worth a shot. You know, you can always give it a shot. You know, never give up. Never give up on your dreams.
Yeah, Ethelred the Unready just doesn't seem to work if you're trying to get him into college or something. I don't know.
I mean,
if I can interject for a second.
Yes.
I do know that the War of the Roses
by Umberto Eco
starred Michael Douglas and Danny DeVito, and was directed by Danny DeVito, also Kathleen Turner, and I can't remember her name, something Sagebrecht, but also a very young Sean Astin. So carry on.
I didn't know he was in that movie.
Did I get that right? Was that Umberto Eco? Did I get the author correct of the War of the Roses?
I don't think so.
I thought it was.
The novel was written by he did a Harrison Ford movie as well. Random Hearts or whatever that Hearts one was with Kristen. Anyway, I could be way off. I'm just a movie guy.
Time to go to IMDb.
Oh, so it's the name of the rose. It was the name of the rose, which is based on
the Of course, of course, yes, very good.
I was very like the War of the Roses was involved somehow, so I was kind of there. Yeah. I mean, it takes place there.
Anyway. The Rose is in both of those titles, so
yes, the Rose. Yes. Jeez, this is what I gotta deal with, man.
It's just facts, man. It's just facts. I'm just spitting truth.
So the channel's doing well, and you're starting to kind of like go into more, you know, different topics. I mean, like it was a lot of the, you know, historical sites where you just got back from Joshua Lawrence Chamberlain's house, which also shout out some of the best initials, JLC. Hey man, I was all about that. So you get that nice. JLC.
You gotta own it. You gotta own it.
So you went there. So you're still doing a lot of those like visits. You're doing a lot more of your kind of like not really like retrospectives, like when you're kind of like just like doing your own videos, like the one that just came out on Reconstruction. What more are you planning on doing with the channel?
The next big thing that we're kind of thinking about doing, which will be some more original content, and I'm never going to get away from the reactions because everybody loves those. Those are what grow the channel. So they're always going to be a part, but they're a means to an end for me. They're what allows me the freedom to be able to do some of this other stuff. I've been reaching out and making connections. I want to do some kind of living history where I get to actually experience, you know, I want to go shoot a Harper's Ferry 1855 rifled musket from the Civil War. I want to, you know, march in a formation with a bunch of Revolutionary War people. I want to learn what it was like to make soap in the 1500s, those kinds of things. So I've been reaching out. A friend of mine, JD, who has a channel as well called History Underground, just got to drive a Sherman tank out in Gettysburg. So that made me a little bit jealous. And so now I'm kind of looking to up my game and do that kind of stuff too.
A Sherman tank in Gettysburg. It sounds like some time travel movie.
Yeah, there's a lot of World War II museums in Gettysburg, apparently.
Wow.
So,
could you imagine if the Union Army had a Sherman tank?
Just like one. Just one.
Just like turn the tide.
I guess
Well,
it wouldn't be
there's a
Sherman. It
book.
wouldn't be Sherman though, because that name comes from anyway.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Okay, who would it be then? Would
But
it
just
be
a tank.
It'd probably be a Lee tank, because really
A
kind
Lee
of
tank,
at
that's
that
cool.
time period, if you're looking previous to the Civil War history, Light Horse Harry Lee, Robert E. Lee's dad, was like one of the cavalry guys that they would look to in their history. So yeah.
Well, I mean,
but
technically, real quick, we could still call it a Sherman tank. We do have a General Sherman.
yeah,
Like, we could still, like,
yeah,
and it's going to cause a lot of destruction.
drive
Let's
it
be
down to
honest.
Atlanta. Oh, I've just offended all the Southern.
They would
people.
get there like that, man.
There's a book, an alternate history book by Harry Turtledove called Guns of the South. And in that alternate history, somebody goes back in time and gives machine guns to the Confederate Army. So I haven't read that one, but I know that that's a story that's been written.
That's a Key and Peele sketch.
Is it?
They have a sketch where they all of a sudden all the founding fathers have machine guns, and yeah, it's very funny.
I'm gonna have to go look that one up after we're done here.
Can I ask a quick question, Chris?
Yeah.
Are all of your videos strictly on YouTube? Is this in podcast form? Because a guy like me, I need to get away from the screen a lot, and I do a lot of driving. So,
well, a couple of things with that. I know there are a lot of people who do listen to the videos, like when they're driving to work and stuff, and it works for that, because other than really just images, for the most part, I'm just talking. It's like a vlog kind of thing, so they would work in that format. I've had a lot of people asking me if I'm going to do a podcast. I don't know if I've got the time for it. I look at somebody like Dan Carlin, who does these like 4-hour long podcasts, and I wonder how on earth he has the time to do it. But it works. My channel does work as a podcast, I think.
So it's just basically streaming. I'm just going to talk for the everyman here. It's basically just streaming on data, a YouTube video while you drive.
Yeah, that's what a lot of people do. I have a lot of people comment and tell me that's what they do. They listen to it while they're cooking dinner or while they're
I've
at work,
certainly done that before, so that makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay.
What you could do is you could also check out YouTube Premium, get yourself some YouTube Premium, download that, because you can download things with YouTube Premium while you're on the Wi-Fi, and play it while you're not on data. It just goes since it's downloaded. This episode sponsored by YouTube. I wish that would be amazing.
Incredible. Brought to you by YouTube.
What? Oh, I'm sorry. Data? Did you want me to say data and not data? I mean, one's a Star Trek character.
I was gonna say Data is a Star Trek character, right?
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
No, Data is how you say it. Anyway, let's carry on.
You're right. Let's carry on. Chris, what's your favorite Star Trek series?
No. Here we go. Okay. Speaking
of
history.
Are you more of one of those Star Warsers?
No, I like Star Trek better than Star Wars.
This is a good man.
Good man. If you were talking about the movies, I like the original cast best in the movies. But as far as a TV series, probably a Next Generation guy. Although I really do, and I'm probably in the minority in this, I really liked Picard. I kind of enjoyed that.
I was a Riker man. I like guys who lift their legs over all chairs whenever they have to sit anywhere. That's my favorite type of person. Is the Frakes. But no, yeah, I'm
Worf. You didn't ask me, but Worf. Thank you.
I mean, dude, he's been in like 6 Star Treks.
He's still my favorite guy. He's my man.
How many movies was he in? He's been in more movies than.
He's also been in movies not as Worf.
Exactly. Yeah, he was Worf's grandpa.
They're all related. All the Klingons are related.
I think that's a little racist.
Yeah, we're gonna get Trekkies on us now, man.
Yep.
First, we're gonna get the South. Now we're gonna get the Trekkies.
He plays in Undiscovered Country. He plays. He's the lawyer.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
I can't remember his name. He's great in that though. That's where he first had that long hairdo, and then I think that came into play in Next Generation after that.
Tim Russ is in. He's in 6. He's in Undiscovered Country too, I believe.
Tim Russ. Shout out to Tim Russ.
Tuvok, yeah. Wow, that wasn't right. That was right. Anyway, so back to history. The history of Star Trek. So back in yeah, like I'm really excited for what the channel has. to offer, because like it sounds like what you're wanting to do, which I am all for. It sounds like you're wanting to make a History Channel show, but like in 2000 when the History Channel had history on it. Yeah, that's what I watched all the time. Like I loved the History Channel. And then they were like, now we got Pawn Stars, Nice Road Truckers. And I didn't even know what they have now. I'm just like, this isn't the History Channel.
But occasionally they still do some really good history stuff when they bother to actually do history. But even then, sometimes they get it wrong. Like, I don't know if you saw the one where they did the series on, it was like about Patton and MacArthur and all those guys. And they have Patton and MacArthur meeting on the battlefield, which did happen during a battle in World War I. But they got the wrong tank on the battlefield for that time period. They've got Patton giving the wrong rank, even though he's wearing one rank on his uniform. He says something different, and just stupid little things that I would have caught if I'd have been standing there on the set. And so that kind of stuff's frustrating. But the Grant series was really good.
You would be amazing to watch movies with. When I watch movies with my wife, who's a medical professional, we'll be watching a scene and she'll be like, "No, wrong. That tube goes in the other end." Stuff like that. It would be incredible to watch with you. I would love all those details.
I try not to do that because, well, first of all, like with my wife, she doesn't care about any of that stuff.
Yeah.
And but I try not to be that guy, unless people directly ask me. But yeah,
that guy.
Well, know what we'll do? We'll watch a movie and we will all be that guy. Because I love that as well. I mean, honestly, like that would have bugged me as well. Because I mean, like general rank, it's not hard. It's just be my little general. That's it. It's not hard. There's 4. Do you know it? Do you know Jason? Do you know American?
I've never heard that before.
Yeah,
dude.
As a brigadier, general. Major, lieutenant, general. Yeah.
Of course not. Yeah. Of course I don't know that.
Oh,
I'm the dummy here. I am just sitting in awe of everything you guys know about, well, your own history, of course, but
we know other histories too.
If we talk about Louis Riel and the Red River Cart and the whole, I mean, I can start talking about that, but I feel like I've lost you guys.
I have a complaint, Jason. Real quick, stalking. Wow. This is perfect because Chris is a history person and knows about history.
Okay,
Chris, I want you to watch, and you're gonna love it because it is the most revisionist history that you'll ever see.
Oh boy.
It's this wonderful Canadian show that's been going on for like 19 seasons. I want you to watch this show called Murdoch Mysteries.
Okay.
He creates Canada somehow, and this guy named Murdoch is the inventor of every single thing that's ever been created.
Yeah, he meets everyone who's ever been in
everyone. Yep.
So he's Forrest Gump, but Canadian.
Yeah.
And yeah.
He meets a young Winston Churchill who's thinking about getting into politics.
He meets Sherlock Holmes.
He meets Sherlock Holmes,
who's not even real. Yeah.
Yeah, it's insane. This last one, he just met Charlie Chaplin.
So let's be very clear though. Josh, unlike me, I am judging that. Josh sounds like he's judging, but Josh loves this show.
It's an amazing show.
It is. Okay, good.
Great.
I'm glad you're being honest.
It's got what is his name?
Yannick
Bisson.
He's a Canadian treasure.
Yeah, Canadian treasure. Like one of my real first interactions with Jason was I asked him about Murdoch Mysteries. This was like at the beginning of the pandemic. I asked him about Murdoch Mysteries, and he said it's a Canadian treasure, and that is when our relationship bloomed.
Yeah.
So I don't think that's ever aired here that I can think of. But where does one find it?
It's everywhere.
It is on Hulu. Watch it on. It's
on
Hulu.
I have Hulu.
Watch it on Hulu. Yes, it's a
fantastic. Better idea, Chris. Better idea. Don't watch it.
No, watch it. You will be amazed the amount of There's an episode.
There's 2 points of view on this.
There's an episode where the CIA. No, I don't think we had the CIA in the 18. It may have been the Secret Service. It may have been the Secret Service. It was like it takes place in like the late 1800s, early 1900s. They want to take over Canada. Because if they they know that global warming is coming.
Oh, geez.
This is a real episode. They know that global warming is coming. So they're like, oh, man, Canada's really cold. And when global warming comes, even if a lot of this stuff melts, Canada's going to be fine. So we should take over Canada. That's a real episode that happens in Murdoch Mysteries. It's
Yeah.
a fantastic episode.
Don't mess. Let me just say this, guys. Okay, listen. Don't mess with Canada. Do not friggin' mess with friggin' Canada. Okay.
Yep. Do not mess with the Toronto Constabulary. For that is what they are called.
Constabulatory. I don't. But listen, we're decent people for the most part. If we look into what's happening in our history now, that's But don't mess with us. Our army is. Have you ever heard of CSIS?
Nope.
Ceases and desistus.
CSIS is basically our FBI, our CIA.
Oh, okay.
The fact that you haven't heard of them means
That's a good thing.
They're good at their job, right?
They're good at their jobs. Yeah.
See, it's not like something like the KGB where we all know about that. Like, we all know about that.
Josh, I want you to know something.
Yes.
I hope that you have some sort of pride when I say this.
That was the best. It's like, I hope you have some pride, and then just dropped. The timing was so perfect.
The computer rejected you.
It didn't want to hear it.
Shut up, Jason. Because Josh always thinks I'm trying to,
take over my podcast.
Take over and move it. I always just feel like I'm taking up too much time. So I always say, okay, let's move on. Because I feel like I'm blabbing on about something that's not relevant, which I usually am. But I haven't done it once. So I just wanted to point that out. And in doing so, I have wasted a lot of time.
Yes, you did. You wasted so much time that the computer kicked me off.
Okay, here we go.
That was more of a waste of time than what you normally do.
Yes, I know. I recognize that now.
So let's kind of get into it. Like, the reason that I wanted Chris on, because you haven't really done one of these. You've talked a lot about really good really good historical movies and historical TV shows that you recommend to the listeners or watchers and viewers. And as a listener, watcher, viewer, I'm like, oh yeah, I remember Rome being really good, so I went and I rewatched Rome, and I was like, that's a pretty good show.
It's good.
So yeah, I was like, yeah, we'll watch it. That ending though.
They rushed it. They got canceled. Yeah. It was like Game of Thrones the last season. They needed like 3 more seasons for Rome.
I 100 agree. Right. I mean, look at Octavian, or I don't remember what, Augustus. I don't know what they ended up.
He becomes Augustus, but in the show he's Octavian.
Okay, yeah. I didn't remember if he turned into Augustus at the end, or if he was.
No, that happens actually years later. I think in like 27 BC. Yeah.
Okay, well, yeah. Well, I mean, like when it went from child, and then it's like he grew up in like 3 minutes, and you're like, he was gone for 2 episodes, and now
in the middle of the season, he goes from being 13 to being like 20. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And you're like, wait, what? I mean, he's still like 13 years old here, guys. That was so that really kind of got me thinking about this episode, and that's really kind of why I reached out, because we do a lot of like TV shows and movies and comics and books and stuff on this show, and that's basically the show. And it was like, you know what?
Yeah.
You haven't really like done anything where you've kind of like rated your favorite historical movies, and that's what we're going to do today. We're going to rank our top 5 favorite historical films. I feel that Jason's and mine are going to be very different from yours based on the pre-recording talk that we had.
I don't know. We'll see.
Mine are for sure.
Can I ask a question? Are we going to go like top 5 or start at 5 and work our way down? So
I didn't number any of mine.
Well, get on it. Because that's how we're doing it, by the way.
Oh, okay. See? Jason,
oh, wow. Yeah, there it is.
Take it over the show.
Sorry.
I got to rank mine now, too. I just made a list of 5. So
Jason's the only one who didn't do it. So really, the criteria for this was historical movie. You're welcome, everybody. That was the criteria. I didn't really want to go super deep because, I mean, there's so many like movies that take artistic liberties that we'll never know. I mean, nothing is going to be 100% accurate because there's a lot of history that's kind of boring. Yeah. So you're not going to get like perfect history. So it's just not going to happen. So yeah, this, like, to me, I was like, you know what, something that it's based in history. There's historical events either around it or that are the reason for the film being made. So I decided to go with probably what I think may be the most historically accurate movie of all time, The Last Samurai.
It's a good movie.
I was expecting more pushback on that because it's not actually on my list at all. I was expecting you to be like, what are you, Last Samurai, and flip a table.
No, it's actually not bad. It's one of those ones like 300 that gets way more right than you realize it does. But yeah, there's a lot that's wrong too. I mean, stupid stuff that didn't need to be there, but yeah.
Yeah.
And it's Ed Zwick. He's a celebrated director. He does a great job of making that film. It looks fantastic. He's a great storyteller.
Fantastic. Yeah. My number five. I am going to go with a film. It's an animated film, so this is going to be a very different one, which I don't believe probably neither one of you have seen this, and we've done an episode on it, and we had the director on before. Director's name is Dennis Do, and it is a movie called Funan, and it is about his mother and his older brother, and how they get separated during the Khmer Rouge, and they have to find their way back together, and she wants to find him and then escape the country. And it talks about his not his father, his brother's father, and he unfortunately passed away while they were making their escape. Her whole entire family basically dies. So yeah, it's this whole thing. They are able to escape to France, and that's where his mother meets his father, and so he's a French. It's a phenomenal film. It is very heartbreaking, and yeah, so to me, it is a very historical movie because it is literally his mother's journey. And it takes place during a very scary time, and I thoroughly love it. If you get the chance to watch, I think it's on Netflix, or it was at one point. Definitely check it out. It's really good.
I'm writing this down. Funan, Funan.
And what we're gonna do, everybody, we're gonna put all of the our top 5 stuff that we talk about on this. We're going to put everything in the show notes so you can actually go and find those films. So if you've never heard of one, or if you're like, oh, what was that one that Jason said that, Josh and Chris made fun of? That one, you can go and you can find it. I'll put like a little asterisk next to that one.
Okay.
All right. Chris, have you go next.
All right. So I'll mention what I said to you guys at the top. I was very narrow in my scope. Being the history guy that's on the episode today, I decided to go with films that are about a historic event rather than taking place during a historic event. So for me, a story like Saving Private Ryan was out because it's a fictional story that takes place in the backdrop of a real life event. Master and Commander, same kind of thing. Great movie, solid history, solid facts, but a fictional story. So, all right. So for me, number 5 is going to be The Longest Day. So there was that stretch in like the 60s and 70s where they made all these fantastic World War II movies where they used a lot of practical effects before the advent of all the CGI that we have now, and just pretty much every big star was in one or more of these movies. And The Longest Day, to this day, I think really holds up because better than any World War II movie that I can think of, it does such a great job of chronicling one of the most talked about historical events of all time, which is the invasion of Normandy on D-Day. So that was number 5 for me.
Nice. That's good. Jason.
I love that you mentioned that whole, one of my honorable mentions is A Bridge Too Far, which is that sort of same sort of feel. All these great actors, Robert Redford and Attenborough and stuff, that let's get all the great actors and put them in here and tell a story of this one thing that happened during the war.
Gene Hackman playing a Polish general.
Gene Hackman, that's right, yeah. My number 5 is a 2001 film by the very great, one of my absolute favorites, Ridley Scott. A movie by the name of Black Hawk Down, which I'm just going to leave it at that.
And honestly, in a lot of ways, is like the modern version of those kinds of movies.
Exactly.
Look at
right.
The guys who are in that movie who became big stars later.
Ewan Bremner, Ewan McGregor, Jason Isaac,
Orlando Bloom.
Nikolai Coster-Waldau is in there.
Yep.
Eric Bana. Yeah, tons. So everyone who just said, I want to work with Ridley Scott however I can.
Yep.
So historically accurate, I believe the bare bones of the storyline probably is, but I'm sure there's some stuff, of course, that they would add to just pack the story a bit.
Yeah.
Love it though. I love.
Fantastic. And as far as history goes, like you said, I mean, they got the important stuff right, which is really all you can ask for in a big Hollywood epic like that. Is get the important stuff right. We know you got to use artistic license for some things, but I think they did a good job with that one.
My number 4, it's a two-way tie, mainly because they're really not historically accurate, but they're a lot of fun. So I have Troy, and I have Kingdom of Heaven.
Ooh,
wow! A couple of Orlando Bloom picks, yeah.
Yep. I mean, we were on an Orlando Bloom thing.
Sure.
We'll continue it. So I love both of those films. Also Eric Bana.
Again, Eric Bana, yeah.
Keep Eric Bana. I think, fantastic films, both of them. Historically accurate, I don't know. Achilles, we don't know. Mythology, who knows?
Mythology.
We'll go with it. Kingdom of Heaven, there is a Jerusalem. Yeah. There we go. There was a Salahadin. So we are there.
Even Orlando Bloom's character is a real life guy. He didn't do some of the stuff that they show, but it's all pretty loosely based on real history there.
Oh no, I'm sorry. I'm still in Troy. Go ahead.
He did play Paris.
Yeah, I mean, I'm still in Troy, but we have Kingdom of Heaven. Who does he play in Kingdom of Heaven again?
Oh, what's his name?
I don't remember his name.
Yeah.
Balian is his name.
Okay. Ridley Scott.
And he was a real person. Yeah.
Oh, Liam Neeson was his dad, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
And Edward Norton as the
plays King Baldwin.
King. Yep. Well, yeah. Great.
Now I kind of want to watch Kingdom of Heaven.
4 hours long or something. It was very long.
Yeah,
Good movie. There's a lack of good quality movies about the Crusades. It's a subject nobody wants to touch for the most part.
That's right. That's right. Yeah.
It's one of those. It's like we should just stay. We should stay away. It's kind of like the Civil War. It's like there was that period like that we kind of had like in the late 90s, 2000s where we had some Civil War things, and then they were like, should we do it again?
Oh, the Crusade. Oh, that reminds me to put Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves on my honorable mention.
Ooh, one of my all-time favorite movies.
Yeah, it's so good.
Not on this list, but
not on this list. No. Okay.
Oh, come on. I mean, that for me is still the definitive role for Alan Rickman. That's the one I will always remember him for.
Okay. We could, okay, for you, yes, absolutely. That's sure. It's wonderful. Yeah, I mean, he's always going to be Hans Gruber to me, but for sure.
Probably a close second right there.
Yeah, absolutely.
I thought you were going to say like definitive role for Kevin Costner, and we all know that role is reserved for Waterworld.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Kevin Costner film ever made. Fight me.
I think you might be joking, but I almost agree with you.
It's an amazing film.
I love it.
Love it. It's great. The only film based off of a Universal Studio stage show. Not correct.
Really?
It is not. No. The stage show came after the film, but it's fun to say that the film came because of the stage show.
Always fun to lie.
It's always fun to lie. And you can take that to the bank, kids. Chris, what is your number 4?
Right. Number 4. So I wanted to get myself out of the easy thing to do, which was to go with all movies that are set in wars. So I went with a kind of a non-war
that's the rest of mine.
movie for my 4th one. So The King's Speech. First of all, Colin Firth, that performance in that movie is for me like one of the all-time great acting performances. And granted, I'm not an actor, so I can't critique that stuff. Really,
no,
well,
he is fantastic.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, obviously he doesn't look like George, but George VI is one of my all-time favorite historical figures anyway, for what he did and what he overcame in a time when really the only thing the king can do is talk. That's like his one big important role.
Yeah.
And that's the one thing this guy can't do. And yet he does it anyway. And I just love that movie. It's one of those ones, every time it's on, I have to watch it. Just fantastic.
And who directed it? It was
Antoine Fuqua.
Nope. F. Gary Gray. No, it was what's his name? Mike something. No, I can't remember. Boy. Okay, doesn't matter, but it matters. But Jeffrey Rush, amazing. Yeah.
Good movie.
Oh yeah,
very good movie. Spawned a lot of memes and pop culture references. So very good.
Okay.
Film. I don't know why I mentioned that. I just did. Anyway, Jason, what you got?
Number 4 for me is a film from 1980 by the crazy, wacky, brilliant director David Lynch. The movie is The Elephant Man.
I don't think I've seen it all the way through.
What? Chris is like,
No, it's good. It's out of the box. It's a time period like late Victorian era, not a time a lot of people make a lot of movies about.
Okay. All right. Oh, that's it. Okay. Wow. That's a terrible movie, or it's a great movie. No, there's just a
No, I thought it was good. And again, I mean, some pretty big name actors in that one.
Yeah.
Trying to remember who plays the Elephant Man in that.
John Hurt.
Okay, yeah. Who else was in that?
Anthony Hopkins.
That's right, a younger Anthony Hopkins.
Well, 1980, yeah.
Yeah.
So, okay, that one didn't go over well, but it's historical. He was a real man. John Merrick was a real man.
I'm gonna withhold my opinions because again, I may have seen that when I was a wee child.
Yeah.
And that would have been the only time that I ever saw that film.
Fair enough.
So yeah.
Yeah.
My number 3, I'm gonna go with a Ben Affleck flick.
Don't say it. Don't do it.
What? Not Argo?
You're gonna say Pearl Harbor. Oh, Argo's okay. You're gonna say Pearl Harbor?
Oh no, it was Argo.
Argo, great.
Okay. Argo's okay.
No, if anything, I would have said the Josh Hartnett film.
Yeah, there it is. Yeah.
Pearl Harbor.
I would say the Alec Baldwin movie, but yeah.
The Cuba Gooding Jr. starring film Pearl Harbor.
Okay. Yeah.
I think Argo's a good film. Does it take artistic liberties? Yeah, it does. Is John Goodman good enough to get away from those artistic, like to not forget about forget about those?
Always.
Yes, he is. So I think it's great. Like it's a great story, especially when you read like more of like the actual stuff into it. But I think the movie does a really good job of dramatizing everything just enough to make it more interesting instead of just like, oh yeah, here's a bunch of stuff on paper and this is kind of what we did. And here's how we made everything kind of happen.
Whereas didn't the Canadians have a role in that? Wasn't it?
Yeah.
There was some like the Canadian embassy was involved somehow in that story. I'm trying to remember what it was.
The people who were held there that needed to be evacuated were part of the Canadian consulate or embassy.
Well, no, they were American.
They came in
hiding in the Canadian embassy.
They were Americans, but they were.
That's what I meant. I think that's what I meant.
Canadian ambassador. Yeah.
I think that's what I meant. Victor Garber plays the ambassador.
And he's great in everything he's in.
Yes.
Canadian.
Speaking of Titanic. No.
Speaking of Canadian treasures.
Victor Garber. Yes.
That's right.
Chris.
All right, number 3 for me. Cool for a lot of reasons. Number 1, because it's historically accurate, but also how they made the movie. Tora.
Oh wow!
So Tora. If you guys know films better than I do, they had 2 entirely separate crews that made that movie. One from the Japanese perspective and one from the American perspective, and neither one knew what the other one did, and then they brought them together.
Incredible!
I just think that's so cool, and still to this day, for me, the definitive World War II movie.
Amazing!
It's phenomenal. Yeah, that's right up there. I had forgotten about Tora.
Clint Eastwood, of course, did the two movies,
Flags of Our Fathers and Sands of Iwo Jima.
But I don't think he followed that same, I mean, he made both movies. So, but that's a wonderful way to do that. Let's just make these two and put them together and see what happens.
Yep.
That's great, man. Yeah. Some very iconic photography in that.
Yeah.
The kamikazes over with the sunrise coming. I mean, it's beautifully shot, and I'm getting goosebumps. There was such tension.
Yeah.
In some, the morning of, beautiful. Wow. I got to watch that again.
Oh, definitely. Yeah. This is making me want to go watch, have a nice little marathon of movies this weekend. Jason.
My number 3 is The Bridge on the River Kwai, David Lean movie from 1957. Again, a host of fantastic actors. Alec Guinness is William Holden. I mean, it's incredible. It's long, and I think some people might watch it nowadays and say that's boring. I don't know. I watched it when I was a kid, and I kind of fell in love with it. So
good, and that's one of those in a time period that's inundated with stories that have been told about World War II, probably more movies than any other historical topic. That's focusing on a story that doesn't get told very often. And I think that's what makes it really unique and a really good movie.
And a very cool set piece, like build the bridge just to destroy it in a film. That's amazing.
I'm going to go for my number 2. I'm going to go with a more of a, probably my most recent movie on here, starring Oscar Isaac and Ben Kingsley, Operation Finale.
Great movie. I almost put that on my list.
Yeah, The Hunt for Adolf Eichmann. Yeah, I think it's a great film. And it was one of those, I wanted to put Munich on there, and I was like, between Munich and Finale, I was like, I wanted to put one of them on there. So Munich made my honorable mentions. But yeah, just Finale. It's just so good. And
who directed it, and when did it come out? I've never seen it.
It's only a couple years ago, wasn't it?
Yeah, hold on. Let me Vamp.
Vamp. Okay. Munich. I love Spielberg. I always have. Love Bana and the other dude in that movie. Who's the other guy? Daniel Craig.
Oh yeah.
And Kieran Hines. He's so great. And that scene where they shoot him and the blood mixes with the milk and the milk bottle spills. I mean, Spielberg
Very Terminator
has got it
too. Yeah.
Spielberg's got that. Well, okay, yeah.
It is.
Wolfie is yeah. Okay, the blade in the mouth. But I don't know. I think maybe it was more of a Spielberg spectacle. Don't get me wrong.
Oh yeah, it's not that accurate.
I don't know if it is, but when they infiltrate the room and they start shooting everybody, it's horrifying.
Yeah, when you go into Munich, there's a lot of it that it's like, oh yeah, that guy that they killed, yeah, he wasn't actually one of the ones that did it.
Right.
You know, it's
right.
like,
and I think you can feel that when you watch it, but I still get sucked in.
But they don't say it. That's the thing. They don't mention the fact that
this guy's not real.
This guy was not one of the perpetrators.
Yeah.
It was a 2018 film directed by Chris Weitz.
Okay.
Who famously directed About a Boy, or wrote About a Boy.
Wrote About a Boy. Okay.
Wrote About a Boy. And Rogue One.
He wrote Rogue One?
And The Golden Compass.
Huh. Okay. All right. Okay.
He was one of the writers, at least. I don't know how many.
My favorite Star Wars movie, by the way.
Mine too, probably. Yeah.
Yeah.
He and Tony Gilroy did the screenplay.
Tony Gilroy. Okie doke. Very good.
There you go. So, Chris.
All right, I'm up. Number 2, my most recent film. And to me, out of all the historic movies that I love, probably, I believe, the most accurate for me portrayal of a historic figure ever. It's got to be Lincoln.
Oh.
So there's Spielberg again for you. Daniel Day-Lewis in Lincoln. Of course, he's great in everything he does, but he became Abraham Lincoln. Everything I ever imagined him to be, he was in that movie. And just the whole thing, and taking, a guy who's so well known and so well loved in this country, and focusing on one little 3-month stretch of his story, I thought at first was a mistake, and I thought, oh, why are they doing this? But it works. Focusing on that fight for the 13th Amendment to get it passed, and showing that Lincoln wasn't the lily white character a lot of people think he was. He was willing to do the dirty things to get, the means to an end.
Slamming on the table. Yeah.
And again, lots of great actors in there. Tommy Lee Jones in that role. Yeah, he steals every scene he's in. Just for me, one of my all-time favorite historic movies that I've ever seen. Just fantastic.
We can't forget one of the best roles in that film, sticking on Star Wars. Adam Driver's in that film.
Oh, yeah. He's in the scene where they talk about Euclid, and he's the telegraph operator.
Yep.
Okay, so you were asking me about weird historical facts and stuff like that. Here's one for you. One of the main antagonists in that movie is George Pendleton, who's a congressman from Ohio, who's kind of the one that's constantly like going at it with Tommy Lee Jones. His grandfather was Alexander Hamilton's second in his duel with Aaron Burr.
That's
awesome. There you go. And he was also the vice presidential candidate for George McClellan in 1864.
That worked out well for McClellan. The one thing that I thought they would and honestly what I kind of wanted them to do a little bit more of was like show maybe a little bit more of like Stanton and Lincoln kind of butting heads. That was one of the one thing, like that was like the one thing that I kind of wanted in that. Like I think it maybe happens in like one scene, and that's when he does the table slam
because he hates his stories. Yeah.
And like, but that was kind of it. Like I wanted it to be a little bit more, you know, almost like a grudging type of, that we get throughout. But I mean, we only have like 6 months in that film.
And I think the issue there is by that point, they had become good friends.
Okay.
A lot of the conflict between those guys happens early on in their relationship, 61, 62. Stanton's from Northeast Ohio. He's from Steubenville, right down the road from me. And he's a Democrat before the war. And he's one of those, like that team of rivals that Lincoln puts together, all these people who really didn't like Lincoln and thought they could do a better job than him. But one by one, he kind of wins them over. And so even though Stanton still hated Lincoln's stories, he loved Lincoln. I mean, he's the guy that at Lincoln's bedside when he dies says now he belongs to the ages, and becomes a radical Republican afterwards. He's the whole reason that Andrew Johnson gets impeached is because Johnson fires Stanton, and the Congress says you can't do that, and they have the whole impeachment because of that. But yeah, so I think that's probably why.
Yeah.
I have Team of Rivals on my bookshelf. It is an excellent book.
Huge book, but definitely well worth it. And that's actually the movie's based on. That was the source material that they used to make that movie.
Oh, nice.
Wow. I did not know that.
Fun thing. If you guys want to learn a little bit more about Ed Stanton and kind of like what's going on there, one of my friends of the show, actually, Chris. No, it's not Way Camp. Shoot. There's a podcast called 1865, and it's a bunch of voice actors, and they basically do it's an audio drama. I know. Can you believe this, voice actors? Yeah. It's an audio drama, and it literally it stars Stanton, and it literally takes place right after Lincoln gets shot. And so it's this whole entire bit about, okay, who's going to be the president? Like what's happening? We have to get him. It's like, wait, was he part of like there was an assassination attempt on him, but it's like,
but he's a Southerner and a Democrat.
Exactly, it's like,
yeah.
Was it a real assassination attempt? Like he conveniently didn't go to the, he didn't go to the, he was sick or whatever in his hotel room. And so didn't go. It's like, what's going on there? So it's this whole like conspiracy thing. And it goes into like history of like everything that kind of goes on, and Stanton declaring martial law.
Yeah, Stanton really took charge. He was the guy running things after Lincoln was shot.
It's a really good, and it kind of goes a little bit into Lincoln's son was possibly having an affair with this one woman who was also probably having an affair with John Wilkes Booth.
Alexander Hamilton's granddaughter?
No.
Possibly. But yeah, like that this whole thing, and like there's some rumblings on like there. They kind of like, bridge and bring a lot of stuff together. It's a really good podcast. I think they're on season 3 right now. So 1865, really easy podcast. Check it out. And I'll remember who it is that's a friend of the show that's on that show. Jason.
Yes, my second, my number 2 is, it's a classic. That word is overused, of course, but it's, of course, Orson Welles' 1941 classic, Citizen Cain. It's a masterpiece.
A lot of people consider the number 1 movie of all time.
That's right, yeah. Strictly for me, there's great actors in it, and Orson Welles is a great actor, but I love just watching it from the technical standpoint, seeing what he did, what he put together to make some of those shots work, and how they come together. It's beautiful. It's beautifully shot. Every single frame is so thought out, and it's just a gorgeous film. Forget the story, forget the acting. Just for me, looking at the cinematography and the set deck and how they constructed each of those frames for each scene, it's incredible. Historically, is it accurate? Yeah.
Yeah, and I honestly don't know enough about the history behind that to be able to tell you either. So
the whole RKO thing, and I don't know exactly, but I think of course, it's based on a true story. So I don't know how much exactly, but man, it's a wonderful film.
Nice.
I get a nice from Josh, who's looking through Twitter right now.
Rob McCollum. It's Rob McCollum.
I'm just glad that we've gone through 12 movies between us, and none of us have had the same movie on our list.
Oh,
so nobody's stolen anyone's thunder so far.
That's
so
right,
don't do it to me now.
Well,
I was really worried you guys would both have The Elephant Man, but
you say that. Let's go. Before we go into our number 1s, we'll do honorable mentions. Honorable mentions. I've got Glory.
Ditto.
I have Enemy at the Gates.
Ooh,
that's good. That's good.
I have Apollo 13.
Okay, Houston, we have a problem.
Yeah, not super.
It's good.
I also don't know how historically accurate it is, but it is one of my favorite movies, Zulu.
Fantastic.
Zulu is pretty good. I just watched it like 3 days ago. So I was like studying up on the Battle of Rorke's Drift and everything.
Because I was like, the Boer War is one of those ones that doesn't get like any love at all.
And then there's Zulu Dawn, which is about the other battle that happened at the same time, the Islandwana.
I didn't know there was another one.
The stuff that Zulu gets wrong is minor stuff, like stuff that doesn't really matter. But the big stuff it gets right.
Yeah, and Sir Michael Caine. Can't go wrong. So those are my my honorable mentions.
You only had 3?
Yeah, but I remember I also cheated. I added Kingdom of Heaven and Troy together.
Oh, gotcha.
And I'm also adding my number 1 and my number 1s together.
1A and 1B.
Yeah. So unfortunately, you both already mentioned them, and they're 2 of my favorite movies, both with the wonderful Sean Connery. It's Bridge Too Far and The Longest Day.
Are you going into number 1s already?
Yeah.
I thought we were doing honorary mentions.
Oh, you're right. Mentions. Chris, you got any honorable mentions?
Okay, well, I'll make my honorable mentions movies that are outside my criteria, the ones that I think are great historic movies, but maybe fictional stories. So Master and Commander, Far Side of the World, phenomenal movie, very accurate to what would have happened in that situation. And I love Russell Crowe. Paul Bettany's in that one. Fantastic. The kid, speaking of HBO's Rome, the kid that plays a young Octavian is in that movie.
The boy.
I was shortlisted for a role in that movie too.
Were you?
Yeah. He was going to be the boy.
Just an FYI. Carry on.
And cool story behind that one. They did a lot of like team building between the French fleet, like the French crew and the British crew. Like they played rugby against each other and things like that to kind of really build the camaraderie and the kind of competitiveness between them. And then I'll add to that Saving Private Ryan, just based on the Omaha Beach scene alone for me. There's nothing like it.
I have Amistad, Spielberg, of course,
Ooh.
1997. I have Saving Private Ryan. My grandfather was he stormed Dieppe, and he was shot on the beach. And he told my dad about his experience just once in his life. That was the only time he ever talked about it. And my dad watched Saving Private Ryan and said, "This looks exactly like how my father described his experience on the beaches of Dieppe." So that has a certain place in my heart. It's a great film. Gladiator. I'm a big Ridley Scott fan, so that who knows?
That opening scene with the Romans in the
the
forest,
of course, Unleash Hell. Yeah,
amazing. It's amazing. Sorry.
Did I 1, 2, 3, 4, 5? Oh, I have 6. I'm sorry. I'll go through these quick. Glory, another Ed Zwick film from 1989. I imagine you know a fair bit about that. How historical.
I'm going to get to it because it may or may not be my number one.
Okay, great. I feel like it actually should be in my top 5 instead of an honorable mention, so I could probably take The Elephant Man out. The Killing Fields, movie from 1984, directed by Roland Joffe about the Khmer Rouge, and also Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure, 1989, 87, 88, somewhere in there.
Nice.
I just watched the newest one. Was not a big fan.
Not a big fan, no.
Oh.
But historical, very accurate.
My number one, again, I like really historical films. I'm going to go with starring Matt Damon and Pedro Pascal. I am going to go with The Great Wall.
I haven't seen that.
What? That's your number one? Okay.
Here's the thing, Jason, can you prove to me it's not historically accurate?
I cannot prove that.
It's not. In no way. Amazing. They fight monsters that come from hell, man. Like,
basically.
It's a weird, but I will say the amount of the action in that.
Oh yeah,
it's great. If you just want a great little popcorn movie, watch The Great Wall.
Lots of different colors. It's very colorful. Yeah.
Everybody's wearing different color suits of armor, and all those different suits of armor have a specific purpose.
They're basically Power Rangers.
Yes, basically. It's like, oh, you can hold a spear, you're gonna be blue.
You can jump off
Yeah, you can shoot with a bow, you're green. We're gonna dangle you guys over the side on ropes to do something. I don't remember, be bait.
You're white.
You guys are white. So I was like, there you go. No, my number one is a tie between A Bridge Too Far and The Longest Day. Two films
that's great.
I watch yearly. I love The Longest Day. I usually call it the longest movie, even though it's not. It's only like 2.5 hours. Yeah. But I really love it. I really love A Bridge Too Far too. Just like seeing the sacrifices that happen in that, especially that one dude who goes to get the ammunition and it was just a bunch of berets. That's like heartbreaking, and you're like, oh, it's just berets.
It's just great.
It's just it's such a sad scene, and you're like, oh. And then I love those two films. Great films. Theodore Roosevelt Jr. in
great story.
in The Longest Day. Phenom. I think it's great. John Wayne gets to sit the entire movie. That's like a win right there.
Yeah.
It's like
score.
Like that. I mean, like what happens? It's like, oh, I got shot like 5 minutes in from like a random German guy that nobody saw. And it's like, yeah, now I get to sit on this cart the entire time. And I love that. I think that's great. You get a young Sean Connery, who I don't think is like credited in the film it's a burn, right? Or is it it's a burn, right?
Does he have a hairpiece?
The big gun.
Does he have a hairpiece in that?
I don't think so. He's wearing a beret the entire time, man.
Right. Yeah.
He's with the Scottish Brigade, so they're all wearing berets, right. And anyway, great film. Love them both. Chris, so
I already alluded to it. Yeah. Denzel Washington's first Oscar for Glory. Just for me, since Civil War is kind of my wheelhouse, kind of my area of greatest expertise, that is to me still the best Civil War movie that's been made. Just phenomenal from start to finish. Even, looking at Matthew Broderick coming I mean, that's pretty close to when he did Ferris Bueller's Day Off. It's not too long after that. Very different role
4 years,
for him, but it
3 years.
works.
Yeah.
And Carrie Elways is in that. Morgan Freeman. I mean, just
Andre Braugher.
Yeah, Andre Braugher's in there. It's right. And just to me, and I have a series of videos I do on my channel where I just show some of my favorite movie clips. And for me, the scene where you have the guy say, "Give him hell, 54th," as you know, the same guy that had gotten into a scuffle and talked about how blacks had no business being soldiers. And I found out later that he was one of the screenwriters on that movie, the guy that did that line, and he has since passed away, but he was one of the screenwriters for the movie. You have to look it up and see, but yeah.
Oh, that's a great fact.
See, and now Jason's going to remember that fact.
That's awesome. I love that.
That's a fact that Jason will love and remember. I mean, that's crazy that, you know, in 10 years time, he's going to go from like Matthew Broderick's going to go from glory to being Dr. Nick Tatopoulos. Like that's like a mind blowing thing.
From glory to Inspector Gadget.
That's a little bit later. That's a little.
Okay,
Jason,
cool.
your number one.
My number one pick, again, from one of my absolute all-time favorite directors, a movie from 1992 starring possibly the world's greatest actor ever, The Last of the Mohicans, a film by Michael Mann. The story of Hawkeye and Chingachgook and Uncas, this family of, well, I don't need to explain it. You guys all know, everyone's seen it, although all I got from you guys was
Well, Daniel Day-Lewis, you don't need to add anything to that. I mean, yeah.
Oh, I thought he was talking about Alan Alda. He said Hawkeye, and I went.
Yeah, that's right. We went to MASH. Like, the great Robert Altman film. It's partially nostalgia. I saw it in 1992. Of course, I was just going into grade 12, my 12th year of school, and man, it is just a beautiful, fantastic, incredible. Wes Studi at his absolute best as Magua. He's like a super villain to me in that movie. He's incredible, playing both sides, the French against the British, and that standoff between Chingachgook and Magua on the top of the waterfall is one of the best things I've ever seen in film ever. And
another one of those things that his history that not a lot of people make movies or TV shows about, not a very often told part of history.
And I don't know if how accurate it is. I can only imagine Mann did his homework, but I don't know if that very iconic, heroic scene on top of the waterfall was real. But oh man, it stuck with me from the very moment I saw it. And I probably watch it a couple times a year.
Nice.
So if you're wondering, that the guy's name, and I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right, but it's Kevin Jarre, Jarre is the name of that guy.
I think it's Jarre.
For Glory and Tombstone.
Oh yeah.
A fantastic Michael Biehn film.
Why isn't Tombstone on any of our lists?
No, Sam Elliott. It's a Sam Elliott film, just like Glory. Glory is a Sam Elliott film too.
Oh, you foolish people. That is definitely a Val Kilmer film.
Oh, okay, fair. Somebody, I wish I had it up here with me. One of my fans
I don't think I'll be your Huckleberry
today.
There with a.
It's a shirt that says "I'm your Huckleberry," and it's got a skeleton like dressed as Doc Holliday. Oh, great, classic, iconic role right there.
Yeah, classic performance. I mean, one of the best.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, for sure. Like steals the movie. Like for sure.
Steals it. Yeah,
like,
it's gone.
He's like when you think Tombstone, you think Doc Holliday. Like that's what you think in that film.
Also, Thomas Hayden Church, Powers Booth,
Stephen Lang.
Stephen Lang. Yeah. Oh man, yeah, Stephen Lang. Yeah.
Powers Booth for me is still probably the line I quote the most. Well, bye.
Yeah, so good.
That's how you should end all of your episodes.
Well, bye.
Bye.
Now for just a fun little bit, I'm probably not going to spend a whole lot of time on this, just because TV shows, like there's a lot of like really good TV shows out there that are historical ish, that we don't get to like, it's not a film, so obviously it could be a whole series on its own, and who knows, we could do a whole another episode just on TV. But I think for right now, we can just name some good ones. Not any sort of like ranking system, just like name some stuff. So like I went with like, you know what? I'll let you guys go. I'll let you guys go because
Band of Brothers.
Yeah, I was like, I'm gonna let you guys go because I'm like, Chris is gonna have a lot of these on here, and Jason's probably gonna have a lot of these on there. So like, I've got special ones.
Yeah.
I have special.
I'll start mine with Band of Brothers. So, I mean, that to me, if I could only ever watch one thing ever again, it's Band of Brothers every time. And that's one I watch multiple times every year. I just got to spend 2 nights down in Toccoa on the base where they trained. We went up to the top of Currahee and cleaned the mountain, cleaned all the graffiti off the mountain. Next spring, COVID willing, I'm going to Normandy, and we're going to follow in the footsteps of those guys there. So that's for me, my favorite. That
would be amazing. Let me know when you're doing that. I want to go with you if you're taking people. We're
actually doing a group. We're doing a group.
Yeah, that sounds amazing.
JD from History Underground, who does historical site videos, is putting together a tour with like one of the best tour guides in Normandy that you can possibly go with, and he's going to take us around last week of April, first week of May. But I'll send you the details.
Yeah, that sounds awesome. Jason, you got any?
Well, Band of Brothers was the top of my list.
Yeah, same. It's like I don't know which is sad because the Pacific is not good.
It's not great. You know what? It doesn't. The problem is we go.
It's compared.
Band of Brothers. Yeah. It's no Band of Brothers.
Without Band of Brothers, it probably does okay.
Yeah. And that. Do you guys know the wonderful Star Trek reference from Band of Brothers?
There's a Star Trek reference in Band of Brothers.
Well, there's a Star Trek connection in Band of Brothers.
No, I don't know that one.
No.
Now I have to. What is his name? I lost the guy's name.
Is it an actor?
It's an actor.
So an actor from the late 90s, early 2000s.
You'd think.
Now there's another one. Speaking of Band of Brothers, though, all these guys before they were stars, kind of thing. There's so many of them in that one.
Wow. Did they not even put him on here? That's hilarious.
Who are we talking about?
I can't remember the guy's name. Like his name is escaping me. Who is Bane?
Tom Hardy.
Oh yeah.
Tom Hardy plays
Tom Hardy. He's Januvek in Band of
Brothers. Okay.
He plays,
so
Picard.
Wow, yeah.
Shinzo? I don't remember. Something like that.
Shinzon, the guy who's cloned from Picard.
Exactly.
Picard, yeah.
Shinzon. I forgot
he's not even on the IMDb. Oh, it's also because I was looking at Star Trek Insurrection and not Star Trek Nemesis. That would be my issue. Yeah. So yeah, Tom Hardy.
Band of Brothers. Michael Fassbender is
in there. Who else is in there? McAvoy is in there. Yep. McAvoy gets shot in one episode.
Killed. He's James Miller. He's killed in Holland.
Donnie Wahlberg, Kirk Acevedo, yeah.
Jimmy Fallon.
Who's the guy that directed
Simon Pegg.
Bohemian Rhapsody?
Antoine
Fuqua. Oh yeah, and in Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels.
But he played Johnny Martin.
No, he didn't direct.
Guy Ritchie?
Oh no, not Bohemian Rhapsody. He directed Rocket Man.
That's it, Rocket Man.
Okay. Yeah, what's his name?
Well, you look that up because we
had
too much dead silence when I was looking it up.
He played Johnny Martin,
fault.
So I'll find it fast.
Sorry. Yeah.
I also put Chernobyl on the list.
Oh,
Chernobyl's really good.
I didn't even think of that. I thought maybe that was too soon, but that was.
I had Rome on the list.
Okay, yeah.
I mean,
that performance by James Purfoy as Mark Antony.
Oh,
one of my all-time favorite historical characters.
Purfoy,
I also put MASH on here because I mean, the
movie or TV show.
Huh? Oh, the TV show.
We're talking about TV show.
The TV show, yeah. I put MASH on there only because I mean, to me, it's a really good film. Sting It series. I used to watch it as a kid, and it was great for me. The really not historically accurate fact about that was because it's like the show went 11 years, and that's not historically accurate to the Korean conflict.
No.
So, I mean, that's the only reason that it's kind of far down on the list. I put Dark Side of the Ring, kind of historical.
I just watched 2 episodes today.
It's kind of historical. It's about wrestling.
I watched the Ultimate Warrior and Jake the Snake.
Yeah, those are really good ones.
It's a fantastic show.
Yes.
Dexter Fletcher, by the way, was the director.
Dexter Fletcher, yes, very good.
I also have The Last Kingdom on here.
Ooh, that's
Love
really
The Last
good.
Kingdom.
Really good.
I tried watching Vikings. Like I watched all of
Last Kingdom's better than Vikings.
Yeah, I watched all of Last Kingdom and then was like, people like rave about Vikings. I'll watch
Historically
Vikings.
accurate though.
Pretty good. It's another one of those ones that gets all the big stuff right and fills in the blanks a lot, but all the characters are pretty much their arc is pretty much what their historic life was. Yeah.
There was a Butcher that does kill a who does he kill? Anyway.
Well, then I put Deadwood on the list.
Ooh.
I have no clue. That's all made up, but
those are real people.
Those are real people.
There you go.
Playing fake people in a real time in history.
Yeah. Turn Washington Spies for
Turn's
me,
good.
from AMC.
Okay. I was going to ask you about that. I have not watched it, but it looks good.
And again, gets the important stuff right.
Okay,
I just
cool.
After I was done with that, read a couple books on the Culper Ring. Really good stuff. And for me, John Andre's story. Have you seen Turn? John Andre is the guy who gets hanged as a spy trying to help Benedict Arnold turn. Historically, he was the guy who was delivering the stuff to Benedict Arnold to get him to betray the Americans, and he gets captured. He's the adjutant general of the British Army, and from all historical accounts, Americans were weeping at the hanging site when they hanged this British soldier because they had connected to him so much. And the guy who plays him just does such a phenomenal job of making you love this guy to where it is heartbreaking when they hang him. It was really well done.
It's just like when Hans turns out to be the bad guy in Frozen. Like I wept. I was very sad and upset with Disney, and I still not forgiven him.
I also just let it go, Josh.
Wow.
I have the Nick. No, nothing. Wow.
I don't know what the Nick is.
The Nick
It sounds English.
The Knickerbocker was it was a hospital in New York City back at the turn of the century. It's
not English.
Clive Owen. It's a Steven Soderbergh. Guys, really?
Never heard of it.
K-N-I-C-K, The Nick. Oh, dudes, come on. All right, sorry, I'm not going to judge. You guys should watch it.
Okay.
Write
Murdoch
it down.
Mysteries?
The Nick.
Murdoch Mysteries.
Look how you just quickly glossed over my choice.
Well, you stopped explaining it.
It's the... I don't need to explain it anymore. You need to say I don't need to pitch Steven Soderbergh to you. If you go, I need you to pitch. I need to watch that.
I need you to pitch the Nick to me. Here's the thing. Pretend I don't know anything about the show. Now tell me about it.
I already did, and I said two things that should pique your interest. Steven Soderbergh.
I'm an average person. I don't know who Steven Soderbergh is. I don't know who Clive Owen is.
Then you're
Is that the guy from Shoot 'Em Up?
You're hopeless.
I don't know. What was that movie Clive Owen did was it Morgan Freeman? It was just not, I was not a fan.
Children of Men.
Is that it? The one where they're like in this like fantasy medieval time?
No, yes, he did that, but that Children of Men is a beautiful film.
Oh,
you
yeah.
need to watch if you haven't seen it.
Shoot 'Em Up, he kills a man with a carrot.
Come on, Paul Giamatti. Yeah, no, that's not it. But anyway, The Nick.
That Paul Giamatti makes me think of another one. John Adams.
That's my other one.
John Adams.
John Adams, phenomenal.
Yeah, it's so good. Yeah, very good.
Poor John Adams.
No,
it's like he gets the.
He's fine.
He's the forgotten founding father, but probably did as much as anybody. Yeah.
No one remembers him.
He's fine.
And then my last one on here, I'm gonna put Mr. Sunshine, which is
I haven't seen that.
It is a Korean drama.
Oh.
That takes place in like 1800s Joseon, which is Korea. And it is like Korea's trying to they're having a really tough time right now. The emperor's kind of like meh, and so there's some revolts going on, kinda. But like the Japanese are there, and the Americans are also there, and there's a fight that happens, and the Americans like unload on these Korean people at the beginning, like one of like their first like interactions, and they end up taking this Korean, like this preacher ends up taking this Korean boy back to the States whose family has been killed, and then raises him there. And his name in Korean is Eugene, and so he changes his name to Eugene and becomes a like he's a Korean, but he joins the Marines. So they're like, we're going to be putting we're going to be establishing an embassy in Korea. So why don't we bring this guy who's from Korea over there? And he meets this girl, and it's a love story, and it's got action, and it's amazing. It's historical. It's a historical drama. Fantastic show. There's Japanese people there. So there's this dude who's a samurai. That's pretty cool, but he's really Korean.
Is this your sales pitch, by the way, for the show?
This is my sales pitch. See, I did a lot better than Steven Soderbergh and Clive Owen. I mean, like, I gave you like deets. All you said was it's about a hospital. So the only thing I can think is it's either Scrubs or ER. So I don't know what it is. So is it going to be funny Clive Owen, or is it going to be like not funny Clive Owen? I don't know.
Have to watch.
I guess I will. I'll have to find out.
Yeah.
Anything else before we wrap up, friends?
I did have another that I wasn't sure was allowed, but yeah, it was a TV show. But sorry, I'm pulling up my list again. No, that's it.
Again, this episode's sponsored by Wild Bill Soda. Get yourself some delicious soda. Lots of wonderful flavors while Jason finds his last thing. You can get Gatling Gun Grape. They have a 6-shooter sarsaparilla, which I don't believe is made with real sarsaparilla, because I don't think you can make this stuff with like real sarsaparilla anymore, can you? Isn't that like illegal?
Oh, is it?
Didn't they outlaw sarsaparilla because it can also kind of be like a drug? I could be wrong. I don't know.
I don't know anything about sarsaparilla.
Yeah. Anyway, Jason, that was ample time. Did you find?
Yeah, no, I'm done. No, it's not.
All
it's
right.
not gonna work. It's not gonna work.
All right. How to Become a Tyrant. Was that it? And all of the 2D scenes animated by our friends over at 6 Point Harness. Check out the new Tignataro Drawn on now. Contractually obligated to say that? Not. Chris, thank you so much for coming on. Where can people find you and Vlogging Through History?
So yeah, on YouTube, Vlogging Through History, pretty easy to find. I think I'm got enough subscribers now that it'll come up pretty well on the search when you look for it. So
that's the way to do it. And you also stream.
Yes, yeah. I do some streams usually on the weekends, and usually it's fun stuff, lighthearted, going to tier maker and ranking. The other day was state flags. I did one ranking US presidents, and
here's the thing.
Stuff
here's
like
the
that.
thing. You gave my state flag a B. The Oklahoma state flag, you gave a B. And I just want to say, as someone, you were correct. It's actually probably deserves a C. It's a very boring flag. It stands for something cool, but it is a very boring flag.
It was ranked higher than most of the flags like it. I'll say that.
Yeah, I like it's just boring. It's baby blue, and then you've got the shield, and you're just like, I
may have been influenced a little bit by the fact that I really like Oklahoma. The times I've been there, the Oklahoma City Bombing Museum, by the way, one of the best museums I've ever been to in my life. Fantastic.
Cool. Yeah, Jason was going to come, but we couldn't get tickets to Suicide Squad, so he didn't get to show up.
No, Chris, what's the #1 state flag?
Number one state flag for me was
Ohio.
I had a couple of them that I ranked at the top. It was Colorado. What else did I have up there? I think Colorado I had as my #1, in Ohio, of course.
Yeah,
because we're not a flag, we're a pennant. So
okay,
we have to be different.
Though.
Just like
that doesn't count though. I don't think a pennant should count.
Yeah, a lot of people say that. They're like, it's not really flag. It's like Nepal, but with American colors on it. So yeah.
Okay.
That's
please do the provinces next.
I'll have to do that because I don't have, and they want me to do the counties of England flags too. At some point. So yeah,
I feel there's going to be a lot of like farm animals and a lot of text.
There's surprising amount of farm animals and farmers going on American state flags.
Oh wow,
yeah.
That reminds me an awful lot of 99% Invisible, which is a podcast hosted by Roman Mars. Did you listen to it?
Yeah, I've listened to it. Yeah.
Basically, you can just assume
similar.
Like 30 American state flags are just a blue field with their state seal tapped on
Okay.
it. That's it. That's all it is.
Okay, cool.
We need you to do like national anthems. That would be a fun one.
Ooh, yeah.
That would be a
yeah.
long one though. Like,
Russia's right up there for me. Russia's got a solid national anthem.
It's got the best one. It's so good they had it twice. Like
and they don't get to play it at the Olympics.
No, the poor
Best sung by Nikolai Volkov.
You know what? Speaking of historical scenes now, well, it's not really a historical movie, but the scene with the Russians and Hunt for Red October singing their national anthem on the sub.
Yeah, very good.
Forgot about Red October. No, I mean not historical. I mean U571's a pretty good one. What was that one with? I took it to stuff that if I hadn't seen it, I didn't put it on there.
Das Boot should probably be up there for historical films too. Yeah.
Is The Imitation Game? Is that a good one? I haven't watched it.
No, fantastic.
Okay,
very good. Yeah,
not a submarine movies. Oh, so you weren't looking for submarine movies?
No.
Oh,
yeah.
I thought you were talking about another
I know where he went with that. U571 and Imitation Game are connected in your brain because of the German Enigma code.
Yeah,
yeah. Both of that is pretty good too.
Imitation Game was fantastic. I think one of Benedict Cumberbatch's best roles that he's had.
I mean, I would have to agree. I mean,
yeah, he's good in it.
I've not seen it. I'm gonna have to agree.
Oh,
I don't particularly like Benedict Cumberbatch in most of his things. So, but yeah, we're gonna put links to all of Chris's stuff so you can check out Vlogging Through History. We'll put the Twitch on there. Yeah, do that. And yeah, he does the stream stuff, and then he'll rate your flag. And then he'll call it stupid. Then he'll
and then I'll get all kinds of hate mail from people telling me, "Why did you do that?" And my response is the same: "You're taking this way too seriously, dude."
Sure, yeah.
You gave somebody like an F or something. Who was that got like the bottom one?
So well, it wasn't. I don't think in the state flags, but it was in when I ranked the states themselves. Being from Ohio, Michigan was an automatic F without any consideration.
That's fair.
For anything else.
Amazing.
And I got some pretty angry people over that.
Oh, the poor Wolverine fans were sad. Oh, I say that. Oklahoma's not part of that. We don't play Michigan. So
that may change though. They're talking about
well, is Michigan in the SEC? I thought they were in the AC 130 or whatever.
We're talking football now or basketball? What are we talking?
I think football.
We're talking about American football. We could talk football because Chris likes football.
Oh yeah.
What's your team again? It's like West Ham?
West Bromwich Albion. Yep.
Oh, I'm a Chelsea boy.
Well, I don't blame you for that. They got Christian Pulisic, so America's great Pennsylvanian hope.
I was a Chelsea boy back when Fernando Torres was there, when he was like, when El Nino first got to the team, and I was like, yeah, and then he didn't do anything.
My son's a front runner. He's Manchester United. Not that they're front runners right now, but yeah.
Everything I know about football, I learned from Ted Lasso. So go Greyhound.
Oh, fantastic! Also, love that show. Love it.
Jason, what about you? Where can people find you social media wise? You got anything coming up soon that you can talk about? You just had a panel at Comic-Con.
Yeah, there's a panel at Comic-Con. Yeah, I mean, you can find me on Instagram and Twitter. Terribly boring, but feel free.
That's his handle. Terribly boring. Terribly boring.
That's not too bad. Instagram is at Simstagrams, and Twitter is at Aboy Simpson. Yeah, we've got a panel discussing season 4. So season 4 of The Dragon Prince is coming soon. Not soon. Don't mishear me. We don't know when it's coming out.
Tomorrow, guys. It comes out tomorrow.
So yeah, that's it's a rabid bunch, and I love them all. But we don't know.
I'm just kidding, guys. November 13th. November 13th. Yeah. I have a contact at Netflix. It's November 13th.
Okay, wow. If that spreads, you're in trouble. Yeah, so we're in the studio recording, and they're busy drawing and writing and all sorts of fun stuff. It's on its way.
Is November 13th? Is that a? Oh no! See, it can't be. That comes out on a Saturday. They don't release on Saturdays.
I have no clue when it comes out. So whatever Josh said is wrong and a lie, and I do not know. So don't.
If anything, it'll come out November 12th.
Okay, if anything, yeah.
If anything, it'll be November 12th, not November 13th.
I'm actually a little scared when those sort of leaks go out, because people, Reddit, they just
they will jump on that. Okay, so I had I posted that we watched the that Troll Hunters thing early.
Yeah.
And I was like, thanks DreamWorks for letting us check it out early. Chris doesn't care about this. But he's still here because we haven't ended the show. So like I sent a tweet and I was like, hey, thanks DreamWorks for letting us check it out early. You guys are gonna really like it when it comes out. That blew up and people are like, how'd you see it early? And blah, blah, blah. I'm like, you guys not know how like screeners work.
Yeah.
Like, we get to watch it early so that we can do episodes on it. Like that's what the media is.
Well, you really undersell that. You should definitely say, because I mean, look at me.
I'm in it.
Yeah, I'm in it. Okay, you can lie about it. Yeah.
How do you know I'm not in it? Jason, have you watched it? I could be in it.
No, I have not.
I'm not in it. There's like 5 people in that film.
You certainly could, though.
Yeah, I could have been in it if I tried and had an agent. I could have been with Diego Luna. It would have been so cool. Anyway, you can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Josh L. Cain. You can find the podcast on Instagram at What's Up Fandom, on Twitter at What's Up Fandom PC for podcast. All of our episodes are available: iTunes, Stitcher, Podbean, Google Play, Spotify. You can check out our video content on YouTube. We're also on Amazon Music. I don't know how you access that, but we're there. So
awesome.
You can also find all of our stuff on our website, animationstationpodcast.com, because I haven't changed the name because the domain's still not up yet. So that's why we haven't changed the name. Yeah, you can do that. Thanks to the sponsor for this episode, Wild Bills. Again, use code Fandom10 out checkout, get 10%. Get yourself some delicious craft soda. And also thanks to 1 Outta 10 for the intro and outro for this episode. They started going on tour again, so you can check them out if you're in the Glendale area. Check them out there. Also check them out on Spotify. That's 1 Outta 10. OUTTA. OU. Boomer sooner. We're leaving the Big 12, guys. We're doing it. Yeah. What are you guys' favorite teams? We're just gonna extend this episode. A Buckeye. Okay. Jason, what about you? What's your favorite American college football team?
Oh wow. I'm done. I am out.
Can you just name one?
Go Tar Heels.
All right. That's a terrible choice. That's just
Go Ducks.
For basketball, yes.
Go Ducks. Go Ducks. Go Ducks.
Okay. Oregon. All right. Oregon's not bad. They have cool unis.
Very cool.
They have really cool unis.
That's the only reason I picked that, because that's what popped into my head.
Yeah. Oklahoma, not cool unis because they won't change the color scheme at all, ever.
Burgundy?
It's
Thank
crimson
you for Baker
and cream.
Mayfield, by the way.
Crimson.
You're welcome. I'm
a Browns fan, so
he is one of our national treasures. He's definitely one of our state treasures for sure. Even though I don't think he's from here, I think he's from
Texas. Yeah,
we claim him though. We went to school here. He has a cool statue. It's a bronze statue up by the stadium. Boom, there we go.
And I live right outside of Youngstown, and Bob Stoops is from here. So
yeah, man, how come all of our cool people go there? Youngston, by the way, shout out to Youngston, Ohio. Actually, no. Akron, Ohio. They're the Zips. And
yep.
Jason, do you know what their mascot is? If I'm going to tell you that their mascot is the Zips, what do you think their mascot is?
I mean,
you're not going to guess it. It starts with a K.
I would guess a rabbit.
I'd tell you it starts with a K.
K, but if you had not told me that, I would have guessed a rabbit. But because you told me K, I would probably think like a kiwi bird.
Kangaroo.
Very close. It's a kangaroo.
I mean, the kangaroo is so on the nose. I thought go askew of that. But okay, kangaroo.
Yeah, I'm only 35 miles from Akron, so I kind of cheated. I knew that one, but we got the Kent State Golden Flashes too.
Chris, you also said Youngstown, and Josh said Youngston.
It's Youngstown. Yeah.
Here's the thing. I do everything English.
Okay.
So I don't include that extra O.
Sure.
It's like Youngston.
Mm-hmm.
Disneyland. Like I don't do that.
Spider-Man. Batman.
Spider-Man, exactly. I do Spider-Man all the time.
Sure you do.
Not Spider-Man, but Spider-Man.
Spider-Man.
It's like I do Spider-Man and I do Star War because it's all one big thing. Anyway, yeah. So Iron Man. That's a good one. So fun stuff. Also, Youngston, what do you think their mascot is? Starts with a P. It is also another
pterodactyl.
Very, very close. It's a very common Ohio
possum
animal. Yeah, definitely.
Animal.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's a possum.
So a possum starts with an O.
No, possum, not opossum. Possum.
Yeah, it starts with an O.
I'm impressed you know this, by the way. that you know what Youngstown State's mascot is?
I played a lot of NCAA football growing up,
Yeah.
and I would always go to like Youngstown. Like that was my team, just because I was like, if I make my character really good, I can win the Heisman here. They're Penguins.
Yep.
They're Penguins,
my
man.
wife and sister are both Penguins. Yep.
Boom. See, that's
Penguin.
a win. Yeah, they're Penguin.
From Ohio?
Ohio's awesome. They got
Youngstown
penguins
State
and
Penguins.
kangaroos. Two state
And they call the
birds.
stadium the Igloo.
Oh,
Yeah.
boy.
It's an awesome place. They're
And
named
racist.
after a bird. They're named after another bird, and they're named after a marsupial. It's a win for everybody.
Very good.
And on that bombshell, everybody, thanks for coming in. Thanks for listening to What's Up Fandom. I'm Josh.
Jason.
And I'm Chris.
There it is. Bye, everybody.
I'm not the leading authority on waxing poetic or using big words, but this writer is my philosophy about living in such a world. Yeah, you and I got a life to live, so what's the point?